Hello and welcome back to the Intel Challenge Katowice. Obviously, we've had our first couple of games. I think we're going to go into our winners bracket. Obviously, Risk has transformed into a Just Harry GG.
Yeah, drop the Danish accent. I mean, it's not really that Danish, is he?
No, it's not. It's not.
He just absorbs the accent of who's ever is around him, and he's been around British people for the last few days. And we've heard a lot about that. But yeah, I mean, we are heading into this, like you say, it is the winners match, and that's going to be between Secret and Vexed. Of course, Vexed being the underdogs coming into this, so it's very interesting to see them in the winners bracket for Group A.
Well, it's that sort of that revenge of Kitty. That's what we're going to see. It doesn't sound as deadly when you say it like that.
No, it doesn't.
The revenge of Kitty. No, but she is going to go face up against our old team, so definitely looking forward to see how that one will go, where we're going to go in terms of maps as well, I think will be important. But obviously, this time, like, they were the underdog in the last one. Now they're more of an underdog. Like Secret are the team to beat. Everybody knows that going into this tournament. They're the team that we're sort of expecting to come out on top. If they don't, then wow, who's going to be the one to beat them? And I am excited to see how well Vex can do, because they've already beaten a team that we were thinking, well, okay, they managed to finish second in the last event. They did very, very well there. We were thinking, okay, going into this, they've just been picked up by a new organization, Dignitas, one that's very, very well known in the Counter-Strike scene. So now, moving forward, like, who are they going to be facing off against? Are they going to be the Secret beater and then they get beaten by Vex? Someone, again, they've just moved organizations, or they went from having no organization to being signed by Vexed and have now, well, won their first map on LAN versus one of the best teams in the tournament.
Yeah, it's very interesting. One thing that we both kind of said coming into this is how kind of much of an underdog Vexed are. And of course, I mean, do you think any of that does come down to the fact maybe they have been picked up by this new org, a bit of kind of a spurt of support from a major org like that would be something to encourage you to improve?
Well, I think definitely, like, especially when you sort of know, like, the organization. Obviously Vexed are as well, they're quite well known, not for being like right at the top, but they are a known organization in the scene. So for sure, it's definitely going to be a big boost for you to be picked up just before the event. And obviously they've now been practicing for quite a while. Still want to bring up the fact they haven't lost like ridiculously in any of the matches they played on LAN. It's always been very, very close. And now we get to basically introduce the team that don't need introducing. They are Team Secret. Yeah. I think we know pretty much every single member of the team. They have some of the best players in the world, and it's always going to be very, very difficult to play against them. Giuliano, Zaz, always going to be the duo that we're watching pretty much the whole time. They've added in Antika as the AWPer as well. I think she came from Reason and was doing very well there. Reason have since dropped off, which, well, what does that say, really? If you've got a star player, you lose her to pretty much the best team. It's going to be one of those things where it's like, yeah, what do we do now?
Yeah, I mean, one thing I'm really looking forward to in this matchup is at least the idea of kind of the Ana versus Antika. I mean, both of them kind of being, I would say, top AWPers within the scene. And one thing that we do often joke about is the statement from the coach, which said, she's probably the best AWPer.
Yeah.
And, a little bit biased. Yeah, that is a big claim. But, it's an interesting thing to kind of see, these two teams going head-to-head at least. We weren't expecting Vex to be here. That's something we really cannot stress enough, is they were very much the underdogs. They had a lot of issues with consistency, hadn't won a map on LAN. And then they show up and they beat, like you say, probably one of the best teams to now make it into the winners bracket up against Team Secret, who, like you said, a team that don't need any sort of introduction, just amazing across the board, and definitely kind of at the top of the female CS scene. But yeah, I mean, what more really could you say? We already saw Team Secret play today. They 16-1, wasn't it, on Mirage? So they're firing on all cylinders. Yeah.
They were on the T side. They were setting the pace of the game. Very, very aggressive style of play. We saw, like, the brief rounds we did manage to see, because obviously it was sort of not really shown. We weren't able to get into the server, so it was a little bit of a problem. It does look like we're going in that sort of direction yet again. So it is going to be a tough map. Now, obviously, I want to talk about the surprise factor of a team. So obviously they know Kitty Cat relatively well, but I think in the groups at ESWC they were not in the same group. So playing against each other, having the sort of information, the one thing that we have for Vexed is that they're sort of unknown, I guess. Like not like the players individually, like we know who they are, but as a team, that we don't really know how they're going to perform. Now, obviously they've been practicing, they've got their coach, they've been talking through the sort of strategy of everything. They qualified direct, like they didn't get an invite, they had to qualify through the European side of things, which was tough as it is. Obviously there were teams like CLG in there who not CLG,
yeah,
LGB, different three letters, three letters, but yeah, LGB in there who were actually knocked out. So do you think that going into this, maybe if Secret sort of underestimate them as a team, that they could even get surprised? We've just seen it from Dignitas, clearly not really knowing too much about the team. Maybe that was the factor that they go, okay, we got this one, don't worry, we'll throw a few P90s in there and they won't know what to do, and they did. So now going into this one, could Secret make the same mistake, or do you still sit in that sort of camp that they are just a level above?
I mean, I think Team Secret are extremely good in that.
You want to say the level above, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, that's something that you can't take away from them. But as you said very well, and I think a good way of kind of looking at it is Vexed have nothing to lose, and no one really knows much about them anyway. So, is it something that I think Team Secret are necessarily prepared for? I don't think so. I think they were fully committed to the idea that they would be facing up against LDLC right now, based on how
Dignitas.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Dignitas right now, sorry. Based on how these matchups went, everyone gets one mistake. You had one,
Everybody gets
that's
one.
all good. Yeah, everyone gets one. But yeah, I mean, so they could very well underestimate them. We have been told, though, the map in question, and it's going to be Mirage by the looks of things again.
Mirage again.
Which, I mean, we just saw them 16-1 earlier on it. So does that fill you with confidence here for Vexed?
The thing is, I think no matter where you go, it's going to be difficult.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think there's any map in this map pool where Secret run, we don't really want to play that. And in a best of one scenario, well, I'm guessing they get 3 vetoes. So you're not taking them anywhere they don't want to go. There can only be, 4 maps left that you can decide from where you want to take them. So no matter what, it's going to be a map the Secret want to play. They have the strongest map pool, they have the strongest team. So going into this one, Vex just had to direct it in a way where they want to play. That's the thing they have to do. You can't just go up against Secret and go, do you know what, I think I'm going to ban their favorite maps, because realistically you don't know. You don't know what they've been practicing all the way through. Obviously they are a team that plays professionally. They are not doing any other jobs at the same time, like some of these players will be doing. So you have to take into consideration that they're going to be practicing pretty much all of the time. And from ESWC to now, their map pool could be completely different. They got invited. They didn't have to go through the qualifier, rightly so. But it means that a lot of the time you're going to look at this and go, do you know what, I don't know where we want to take them, so we have to go for our strengths. Now, I think you should do that in pretty much any matchup.
Yeah.
I think, obviously, when it gets to the very, very top of Tier 1 Counter-Strike, then you can have some more tactical bans, because normally you're going to be strong on, say, 3, 4, maybe even 5 maps if you are right at the top of your game. But in this sort of scenario, I feel like Vex just have to go, okay, we're taking this to Mirage because we want to play it. Now, yes, that may mean Secret just 16-1 someone. We are not iSports. We are playing our own game. And that just means that we have to try and do it in our sort of style. Now, no matter what, they're not out. Like, that's something you have to take as well. Like, no matter what happens here, no one in the group is expected to beat Secret. So they can go into this in a situation where they go, okay, no matter what happens here, we're not out. Maybe let's throw something in a little bit special. Let's try and get straight through to the semifinals right now with 2 best of ones, done and dusted, easy peasy. If it doesn't work, oh, we lost to Secret. Oh, no, we lost to the best female team in the world. You can't take that as sort of like a downer on the event, and that they can learn from it. So I think going into this one, we may just get to see like a sort of freestyle of Vex, like something a little bit more interesting. And, okay, say Anna is that player to be unleashed. Let's go. Let's see what she can do with that AWP.
I mean, coming into Mirage as well, it is, one of Team Secret's most played maps, but it's also one they don't have necessarily the best sort of win rate on. I mean, when you look at it, most of the time up against other female teams, they have done well on it. But I mean, whenever they've played up against some kind of the other teams at their level, they have had some fairly like traumatic losses almost. So, there is still an opportunity there.
There's weakness.
Yeah, there is weakness. And I mean, the only other really map that you could look at that potentially the Vex would have liked to have is Nuke, and that's just because Secret don't play Nuke.
Or Inferno.
But, or Inferno.
Just as a wild
But that's the issue, is it's the fact that you get 3 bans, it's best of 1. They were never going to get them down to those maps.
No.
So Vex have to pick one that they know, maybe isn't the best for Secret, and I feel like that's what they've done. They know it's not their strongest map. It's not their weakest either, but it definitely isn't one that they know that they can just sharp and dominate on time and time again. And I think Vex have just kind of gone for a bit of a neutral ground, point on this. But like you said, we don't really know much about either. When we don't really know much about Vex, they are the the dark horse, as it were, coming into this.
Yeah, and especially, like, I have gone on about the vetoes, but you know that Secret are not tactically banning. They're not going, do you know what, we're going to ban out the strongest map for Vex. No, they're going, we don't really want to play Inferno because it's I don't actually know the veto, by the way. This is all theoretical.
Yeah,
but the likelihood is, okay, Inferno's just come back into the pool. Say they have practiced the hell out of it. Why are they going to throw it in a best of one? They got no need to. So they'll just wait until, say, semi-finals, finals, when they go, okay, we've actually practiced Inferno, and we just didn't let that on. Obviously, the only map we've seen them play of it was actually in the show match, I think in New York, which has absolutely no value to it whatsoever as a show match versus CLG Red. CLG Red did win.
Yeah, they did.
But again, you can't take anything from that. A show match is a show match. It's not competitive in any sense of the imagination. Now, obviously, they're just, like I said, they're just going to go for the maps that they want to play, they're going to, or not want to play, and then you end up on Mirage. Now, what I actually want to talk about more is that AWP battle again, because this is a map where AWPers can very much take over it. It's very, very easy for an AWPer to just, if they step up, if they go ham, they can win this almost easily. Now, we didn't see that from Candy. She was sort of the person who, I actually said beforehand, if they're going to have, the win condition for iSports in that match was Candy had to go nuts. And we did. I think they actually managed to take a map in the sort of Star Ladder female event because she did. I think she dropped. It was either 34 to 37 kills. I think it was either her. It was her and Zaz in like a battle of the fraggers. And I think Zaz actually won, but they still managed to win the map. Just Candy just winning the rounds that they needed with that AWP. Didn't happen today on Mirage. However, that we've already said the coach has been hyping up that AWPer. We've seen some clips in the last map where she was doing very well against Dignitas, 4K over towards Long. If she can take over Mirage, if she can stop the aggression that we saw in the previous map and just basically stop them having so much control over mid, we could see a completely different game. Kitty Cat started very strongly as well. I think she was just behind Anna on the board towards the end of that one. So I don't want to take anything away from these players. I think there's definitely a chance that if they can step up big, they can bring this to Secret and surprise them.
Yeah, and you kind of focused a lot on Vexed, looking over the, across at Team Secret. Obviously, the AWPer doesn't really need too much of an introduction, like you say. I mean, it's going to be Anita, and she's been doing phenomenally well on that AWP. But the interesting thing to me is the fact that, she's kind of the newest addition to the roster, you'd say. And she, of course, now going to be taking up that primary AWP. Instead, they've put Vilga, who used to be their primary AWP, is now going to be on the rifles. But that does open them up to play a very, very strong double AWP setup. And I think a lot of that is going to depend on how strong we see the AWPing, on the side of Vexed, coming from, of course, Anna to be, So, if she does start opening things up with the AWP, it wouldn't surprise me if we see a second AWP coming out on the side of Team Secret just to try and counteract that. They've definitely got that possibility open to them. And I think coming into this, there's a lot that we could see put into play on Mirage. And in particular, when I was watching the game earlier between Vexed and why do I always forget? I always get LDLC in my head, but it isn't. It's Dignitas. When I was watching
they are
them
new
play,
org, to be fair. Like new to female.
That's exactly.
So that's what it is.
That's why. We'll say that's why. But I mean, when I was watching the T side executes, they looked to be just so very, very strong. Some of the fakes that they were throwing and stuff were things that I was looking at it and I was just thinking, it's so incredibly well oiled and well rehearsed that you can tell that they have been putting in the hours.
Props to the coach as well.
Yeah, props to the coach as well. So, I mean, I'm really excited to see kind of how this does pan out. I think the knife round is going to be starting soon. It may have already happened. Yeah, the knife round's actually already gone ahead, I'm pretty sure. Or he's just starting now. No, okay, it's just going now. There we go. Okay, yeah. So that was but still, so yeah, for those of you who aren't familiar as to what the knife round does, even though I imagine you would be, it basically just lets you decide which side of the map you start on. Of course, it's the only fair.
I wonder
way
if
of doing
Secret
things.
will choose T side if they get it. Now they might not even get the choice. In fact, it isn't looking like they're going to at this point.
I mean, Giuliano and Anita, they could
not if Antica kills. Juliano. That'll probably ruin that. It's just like, no, I want to be the best player in the team. I'm going to take you out of the round. But the other thing, I also spoke about, like, maybe Anna can take over the map. Maybe there is pretty much every single player on the other side of things that can take over a map. Zaz and Juliano, there is no doubt. But the thing is, I think Mimi as well is a star player on any other female team. It's just the fact that in this one, Juliano and Zaz are so good that you can't have that many stars. It just doesn't work. It's like, say you were looking at that Dream Team Fnatic and you were going, do you know what? Yeah, no, I think Olaf Meister is the star in this. And you're like, well, What about Flushhill? What about JW?
Yeah,
what
it's
about,
like
everyone is a star.
She's like our son in amongst a bunch of red giants. It's like, don't get me wrong, she's a star in her own right, but when you compare kind of the players that, in a way, almost going to take that off of her, right?
Yeah.
Like, she could very easily be the key player within another team, but doesn't really get the opportunity to be.
It is the prime example of that in this team is Antika, because she's gone from being the star of reason to being the AWPer hit. Now, that's fine. Like, that works in many teams. Obviously, it's adaptation. But anyway, we have spoken so much theory. We have said all the analysis we can possibly do. Harry, pistol round. Let's get to it.
Yeah, heading into this, we can see the Team Secret going to be making their way over towards B by the looks of things. That bomb is going to be in tow. Now Kitty Cat positioned up here on their own. And actually going to see Marion going to go aggressive in through lower tunnels. It does pay off. Juliana going to go down. That's an early man advantage secured for Vexed, and no trade frag to come out of that just yet. Does mean that right now Team Secret, bit of a spanner in the works into this round at least. The rush on a B is going to be certainly weakened. That nade doesn't actually find much damage. Now Kitty Cat to try and hold down this B site. Just going to fall at the hands of Zaz. Nice and easy as the raid boss spy going to be paying off. That's a second for her now as she finds Zonic as well. It's a 3-on-4 for the retake. Bomb's going to go down. Team Secret looking to try and hold this down.
Yeah, rotation is going to be in there, all going to be pushing through market, and they don't have a kit, and Zaz just gets the third kill, shutting this down alone. Doesn't quite manage the ace, but it doesn't matter. Mimi with the secondary Tech 9 will finish things off, and what can you say? Zaz starting with a 4K in the pistol round, that's exactly what the doctor ordered for Secret.
Yeah, especially coming into that, with that man disadvantage, just going to be, so, I say man disadvantage. I guess it's
it just rolls off the tongue. Yeah, it rolls off the tongue better than woman.
Yeah, so already it is going to be Team Secret picking up that first round. You can see they're going to buy 3 UMPs. It's nice to see the UMP meta very much still a thing. 2 AKs as well, plenty of utility.
We saw MP7s in the last
Yeah, we
game.
did. I was looking, there was a kind of an assortment of SMGs, like a full arsenal of SMGs.
Emily with the P90.
Didn't see any PP Bisons.
Yeah, no, I'm waiting for that.
We saw dual Berettas, actually. Did you
no
know?
Shotguns either, and I'm a big advocate for shotguns. So
I know you are, Tom.
I think anybody who's ever watched me cast knows that by now, but maybe there's a few people out there who don't, and I love a good shotgun. But yeah, if someone wants to throw in the PP Bison, I may say that would be a level of BM if you are going that far.
Really? I think it's phenomenal, no? But
it's trash.
Well,
that weapon is trash.
Well, that's your opinion, Tom. Let's see. Anyway, we got Vilga over here towards B. She is on her own, and right now, both Marion and Kitty Cat down here. They're looking to try and employ a bit of a boost for her to see up in towards apps. Now, I haven't ever really seen this done too much before, but she might be able to catch Vilga off guard if she does go in for that push. Molotov's going to go out over towards Truck. No one from Vexed is going to be playing there, and Bomb slowly but surely rotating in through T-spawn. It looks like Vilga's trying to sell a bit of a fake over towards his B site, and while Marion does spot her out, does great damage. She's only on 1 HP. That flashbang would have been enough to kill her, but she does escape with her life for the time being. Bomb rotating round to join Zaz over towards A. And, well, as the push comes on in, you can see the Monkey D's over in the corner. Molotov's just raining into the site through the fire and flames. Smoke's going to go down as well as they do smoke off CT. Push coming on in. Marion first to go down. And they are going to really get control of the site, but they haven't cleared out the corner just yet. And as you can see, going to go in for the push. Going to get one. Switches out to the A. Gets a second as well. These pistols doing some serious work right now. Kitty Cat and Sonic. Last 2 left alive, and all of a sudden it's all on Vilga. 1 HP in a dream. There's no time left. She's got to get the bomb and plant it, and they can't let her get away with this, surely. Here we go. Sonic going to go for the peek, and she dies after the time as well. That is the economy of Team Secret. Not only down the toilet, but that's Vexed picking up the anti-eco that should have gone the way of Team Secret.
And we're actually going to have an early tech pause coming in from the CT side, so not quite the way they wanted to go early on, but a real nice round. There's the MP7 again. It's going to be dropped straight in. Now, this is a little bit risky because I wouldn't actually be surprised to see a force come out from Secret here. Now, obviously, Vilga can't invest, so really, like, the value of her having no money and everybody else just being on, what, it'll be enough to probably buy a few AKs in the next round. I don't really see the value of it, so they may as well just try and go for something in this one. On the other side of things, that means that if they do, it's just not really going to be too much. Now, Juliana's bought a pistol, but other than that, it is not really seeming like they're going for too much. Obviously, they've got plenty of time to make the decision. I do really like the fact that just wasting down that time so much over on the CT side in that round, and then just having that sort of sneaky player in the corner to just deny that bomb plant. The second that happened, you could just see the panic come out from Secret. They didn't know what to do. They needed to clear those players out so quickly, and then just had to try and rush planting the bomb, and it didn't work at all.
Yeah, ultimately, time going to be the bane of their existence into that round. And Yeah, I mean, it was a really nice play as well. The lone player on the site actually managed to get one with her pistol and then switches things out to the AK. That was a nice second shot to land. I mean, if that one player up towards Palace hadn't have gone down, could have been a very different round on your hands. I mean, a 1-for-2 trade in on the site and then instantly opening up the opportunity for more players just to flood on in while they're panicking, trying to get that bomb down. You could see the moment that Team Secret just kind of realized, okay, guys, we've really badly messed this up. And there was very little time left. Panic just coursing through their veins, and they couldn't quite managed to pull that off. And I mean, I agree with you here, right, Tom? The money is going to be very bad over on the side of Team Secret. I think they should go for a force. Try and win something back in their favor. I mean, Bill doesn't have enough money for anything whatsoever. She can buy a decoy and maybe, just kind of lob that at someone in a vain attempt that they think it's a flashbang. Which, could very well happen. But I'm hoping they do elect to force buy down. That does look to be the case. As now you can see Mimi going to be picking up the deagle and armor. Hopefully she can land some Juan Deeks down mid. Let's see, though, if the budget AWP pays off.
Interestingly, Antika just going to go for a Glock with Kevlar. Not something you see too often, maybe just hoping that one of her teammates will drop a weapon. Vilga will be given a P250. They do have quite a bit of utility going into this round. Now, not really too much overall, but it will be enough that if they get close, they could do some damage. And with 4 players with armor and 5 SMGs over on the other side, and a P90 as well, it is an SMG, but not the one you see too often. A little bit of a risky buy, and already Vilga's going to start things off. That solo P250 doing the damage. Zaz again with the Tech 9, already getting herself right to the top of that board. And now they're just going to be looking to try and get that bomb down. This is already quite a success considering the investment. Retaking as a team, however, will be the CT side.
Yeah, Marion's already over towards shot, backed up by the over towards here. Now the flash goes out. Marion able to find one. It's pop does land. Zonic in with that P90 up close and personal. Going to be wreaking some havoc. Has to check bench. There's 2 players nearby. Julian able to get that one. 1v2. Time ticking away from her. And she does have a kit to play around with. Finds one. Switches things out of the USP. And Villager's going to go down as well. There's the clutch of dreams to keep Vexed in this. That's going to be 2-1. They shut down that force buy in very good fashion as well. I mean, they did lose a lot of players. Bomb's going to go down. But ultimately, I mean, the second they lost those 2 into the entries onto the site, it was a very sketchy situation from then on in. They're up against armor, they're up against players with P250s, Deagles, Tech 9s, and they can be lethal at close range. So a great job on the retake there. Bomb down, though, for Team Secret mean they're going to have plenty of money. They will be able to go for the investment next round. This time, they are just going to have to kind of go for a little bit of investment, but ultimately not much. You can see Zaz actually going to be picking up the armor and the Tech 9, so trying to do more work over here towards this B site. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, this time you can actually see Anna was slightly saving in the previous round, is going to go for the AWP, so probably not something that will be expected over on that T side. I am a little bit disappointed that Secret didn't just go all in and just sort of risk it. They made it down to just 1 player, even with a lot less. They could have gone for the UMP buy and tried to just force this through. They're going to play it safe. Can, of course, respect that. Kitty Cat is going to be playing over towards that van at the moment, just waiting for any sort of push over towards this B site. Now, there are quite a lot of players in this position. Zaz even has a little bit of Kevlar behind the pistol that she's got, but they're actually going to be able to split in towards jungle. This is a little bit of a scary situation at the moment for the CT side, giving up a lot of map control. Giuliano is going to manage to get one over towards that B side. That's the solo B player. This should be another bomb plant. So again, these pistols working wonderfully for Team Secret at the moment.
Yeah, having Zaz here as well causes so many problems. It's going to completely deny the rotate, and she's been able to stay alive for so long. She's bought the people on site so much time. Now, Juliana's still alive, has an M4 to play around with, just biding her time in the smoke. They pre-fire through, but they don't find the frag. She's going to have to get one. It's a 1v3, but they have to start defusing quickly. Well, the defuse is going to be coming on in. She is in a position to try and shut this down. Doesn't have a kit, but she's got to go fast. And, well, she's not Sonic, but speaking of Sonic, Zonic to pick that one up. That was terrible, Tom.
Yeah,
Juliana's going to go down, and there's Vexed, 3-1. They managed to get that, despite it being, like you say, a very scary situation. Having those players in over towards jungle just makes rotating almost an impossibility. But they do manage to make it work. Sorry.
Yeah, the problem is you have to say that for that round in general, that's relatively successful for Team Secret. They get 2 kills.
I would say very successful.
Yeah, they get 2 kills and they get themselves a bomb plant, so not really too much of a problem. They're going to go for this early mid control. Now, this is something I mentioned in the pre-game that we need to see a counter for. Now, already, they're just going to be boosting up on the box, trying to go for a little bit of a pick with that AWP. It is going to be on both sides, of course. Anna yet to really make her mark on this game so far, but it's very early on, and in the previous round, obviously, rushing into B, not really going to be something that an AWP can do too much of, unless, of course, you're set up over towards that apps position. Now, mid control has fallen at the moment. This is a risky push from Marion, though. She's just going to take the position onto the box. I don't know if they'll actually check this. Vilga's going to go for the flash into middle now. If the peek comes out, there's nothing that can be done. And there we go. Nice pick. Just going to fall back over towards ladder room. Smart decision. Doesn't take any over-aggression and gives the advantage over towards that CT side once again.
Yeah, I actually really like it when people play on those cinder blocks. It's very smart. It allows you to rotate back in through the into ladder room through the kind of murder hole vent there. And, you know, it works off. I mean, Vilga doesn't check the angle. He's going to go down as a result. Now, Zaz over towards A, trying to equalize this out best she can. Does spot Sonic in the corner. Molotov going to force her out into the open, and she's going to fall. Zaz to equalize. Now they're making their way up short. Looking like they're going to try splitting out on towards this B site. You can see that Zaz is rotated on back over towards T-spawn, rejoining Antika with the bomb. And well, Juliano actually going to be the one on the AWP up towards mid. Does find Kitty Cat. Now Marion's here alone. Going to pop flash out. Doesn't hit its mark over towards short, but it doesn't matter. Going to be able to get one. Looking for a second, and Juliano misses that shot, but down goes Marion. Mimi to set up the crossfire. Able to help her teammate out there and keep the man advantage alive for Team Secret. 2-on-3 in the retake. Anna's already over towards Kitchen, rotating on round. But bomb has been planted. Juliano watching the cross, finds the tag on Awana, but doesn't do enough damage. It's going to be interesting to see if they do still try and go for this. Then, well, there's Juliana to say, nope, not this time. Does drop Anna, and now it's all on Juliana to try and save. Wants to hold on to the M4 if she can, but Zaz not going to let her get away with it. We'll be able to pick that up, and that's going to be Team Secret finally getting themselves a second round.
Yeah, Zaz starting very strong in this game already, 10-4, managing to get their second round on the board, and well, CT side not looking like they're going to completely invest into this one. I think they have maybe bought a few pistols in and will be going for a buy in the next round. Not sure how strong their economy was yet. Exactly that. Just going to invest in a few pistols, not going to go for anything too crazy, and then come back with the extra 1900 going into the next one. It should mean now the Secret are just able to push forward and get themselves around. And while Mimi just going to go very aggressive. Surprising that there are actually two players in underpass and neither of them expected her to do that. Juliano just waiting for any more aggression from the CT side, but not going to be coming her way anytime soon. I don't think there's any real benefit to push further forward. However, we do have Julia just looking to try and hold over towards ladder room so they can at least keep a little bit of map control. The big problem is, though, we've already seen Zaz push all the way through the A side. The bomb's just going to go rotating back around, and then Vilga's just going to sell this semi-fake over towards the B side.
Yeah, not even so much as a fake, just to stop these players from rotating on off. Now, one does manage to sneak on by, but instead can actually loop back around towards B, and you're able to find one in mid. Vilga does go down at the hand of the 5-7. That's going to be her now on the AK, but Zaz is already in the back line and says nope. Finds that one on Azonic, leaving it by Julia and Marion here, 2v4, and you can see that just looking to hold into the AK, looking to try and fall on back. Marion wants to try and grab a gun if she can, as she flanks on round. They're not expecting another player to be coming from B. I think all their sights right now are on Julia, who's looking to make her way up through mid. Marion, oh, no. Zaz is just on fire right now. Shuts that one down, and there we go. It's just going to be the lone AK saved up here for Vexed. That is, you know, unless Team Secret do go on the hunt.
Yeah, they haven't made a huge amount of money themselves, so I don't really see that as much of a possibility. Zaz already looking like, we mentioned all the players that could take over a game, and, well, to start, she has been doing very, very well. Already 12-4, only 6 rounds in.
I mean, she's got more kills than everyone else on her team combined right now. Nearly.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
it's like 2 kills around at the moment.
Yeah, she's been opening things up, and she's, you know, the real one to kind of watch out for right now. She's firing on all cylinders. Juliana, the other player we normally kind of look to, has been a little bit quiet thus far. I don't know if that's because necessarily not performing as well as usual, or just if it's because Zaz has killed everyone by the time she has the opportunity to come into this. But 3-3 right now. Oh, it's going to be back in the hands of Anna now. Tries pushing out through connector. Anna does miss that shot up towards top mid, has to fall on back, and that's going to be mid control handed over. The Team Secret here. Now Marion probably going to play back out on the cinder blocks again, potentially. Anna rotates over towards B. Going to be setting up the crossfire there with Julie.
Problem is now they don't know if that's clear. They just missed the Molotov going into window. So they have absolutely no idea if that right side of window is clear, especially with the smoke going down. However, it won't matter too much If Zaz is able to get that first kill over towards the A site, starts things off, the aggression pushes out, they've learned the position. Vilga not going to get caught by that again. Kitty Cat able to trade one, but still doesn't expect Vilga to be in ladder room, even after the death of her teammate. This leaves it back to a 4 versus 2. The CT side going to need some heroics from one of these remaining players. And you can see Anna already just basically waiting. If they go towards this B site, she'll be in position to actually try and hold this. If not, she's just going to save that AWP. Definitely seems like the right decision to be making at this point in time. Do, of course, have Zonic as well, just ready and waiting. And actually, they're going to seem like, it was almost seemed like Anna was like, no, I want to go for this. Goes to rotate back, and then Zonic's like, okay, no, that's not a good idea. We need to keep our weapons, keep them into this next round, and Team Secret are going to get their 4th.
Yeah, what started off as a very good start here for Vexed is quickly turned into the kind of, they found that one round, and since then it's all been on the back of the broken economy of Team Secret. Even those rounds were, those rounds were extremely close, and that's demonstrated by the fact that the second Team Secret won one and Vex lost. They had to go straight onto the eco because they didn't have enough money left as a result of those coming down to kind of, one player being left alive at the side of Vexed, 1 or 2. I think 2 was the most they had alive in that first anti-eco of theirs. And well, they're trying to hold on to what they can on it. It will be able to find Vilga, but still players closing on in like moths to a flame, just tracking down these 2 saving players, but they will be able to hold on to the rifles for the time being. Taking a look at the economy, Team Secret just rolling in money, which is how they stand to be if they manage to make it through this potentially. They have a shot at the prize pool, so there we go. But on the side of Vexed, I mean, they will be force buying on down. It's going to be a bit of an interesting buy. Kitty Cat finally going to be breaking out the shotgun. She's someone that you want to be keeping. You always say you like the way that she plays, and now she's using your favorite weapon, your weapon of choice, Tom.
Yeah, oh, it's the Deathbringer, the Mag 7. You have to have style to use it, hence why it rhymes with swag, of course. But we are going to have her just playing over towards this B position. We got Antika with the AWP, just going to go flashing through. This is the perfect position for this to be in, but doesn't quite manage to kill. Mimi going to go down to 6 HP. Marion in a decent position to try and trade this back. Gets the first. Just going to try and rotate back around. She needs to stay alive. Doesn't quite manage to connect. Mimi still only on 6 HP. Very low on health. Still just going to be peeking around. Zaz in a decent position, but Marion takes her down as well. And with the rotation of Anna, this leaves Antika, the AWP player for Team Secret, to try and challenge versus 4. Now, of course, if she can make this costly, that could be beneficial. Doesn't seem to know where the remaining players of the team are, and there's actually a rotation coming in as well. This will be Julia, and this is going to be an easy frag. It doesn't matter. Anna steals it away anyway. Not going to go for the double AWP setup, so clearly not something they've even thought about.
Yeah, I mean, the real kind of standout performance there for me was Marion over on the B side. She managed to stay alive long enough to enable that rotate to come in and shuts down 2 kills herself. So, picking up those frags, allowing the rotate to come through from the rest of her team, buying plenty of time. They didn't even get the bomb to the site in the end. So, her just single-handedly kind of locking that one in for Vex. Going to take it back to 4-4. Already a very respectable scoreline when you think about the fact that we saw that 16-1 come out earlier. They are looking to be in good hands, but Mimi lines them up, knocks them down, and that play might have been bigger than the monitors they were on earlier, as already she finds those opening 2 frags. And, well, she's looking for a third. You can see that Kitty Cat's thinking about going for the push, and I wouldn't do it. It's going to shorten her life expectancy considerably, and Mimi's there. That's going to be 3 for her. She gets the hat trick, and that's going to open up this B site. Arna's rotated round, says enough is enough, and does find the return, but still it's a 3 for 1. She's alone on the site, has to buy time for the rotate, and, well, not going to buy anything when you're 6 feet under. Still going to find the last, and that'll be Team Secret arriving at a 5th. They lose 1, and then are very quick to recuperate.
Yeah, that's the second time that we've seen aggression come in into underpass, and both kills will go the way of Mimi. Just lines them up and sprays both down. So clearly, if they are going to go for that aggressive push, they need to be ready for someone to actually just run straight in and just go for some sheer aggression. And well, as you said, it was a one-and-done scenario. That's the biggest problem at the moment for this Vex size. They probably would have been better off just losing a couple of rounds and then trying to come back later, because now the economy game comes into play once again. And they do have a couple of players over towards this B site, but nothing going to come of it. Zaz doing the majority of the damage with Vilga's help. Already 2 players down. It leaves 3 players, none with armor whatsoever. But Anna decently positioned and may want to try and get that SMG, of course. Maybe get a little bit of extra value in this round.
Yeah, look where Julia's saving right now. She's got the 5-7 there in the corner. She actually heard Mimi just going hunting over towards here, and she wants to try and find this if she can. I think we're going to be seeing attack pause come in from Vexed, which I do like. I was about to say, I'm a huge fan of taking the pause now. You see a lot of teams, they wait far too late on into the game, or after a streak that's just been, far too far gone for them to come back from it. After this, it's going to be a 4-6 scoreline. Team Secret picking this round up, obviously, unless someone Vexed literally flies to the bomb site at the speed of sound and manages to defuse it in a matter of seconds. But that's not going to be the case. There we go. Team Secret pick up their 6. Now, the reason why I like this pause, Tom, is because Vexed, they've got 4 rounds. They're only 2 away from Team Secret. It's not like Team Secret have gone on a massive winning streak either. But what they've done is they've taken this pause. There's still 4 rounds left for this to influence how this game pans out, or 5 rounds, sorry. And, taking this pause here is just going to enable them to try and deal with the issues they've been having. Some of the things that, like you spoke about, the pushes in through lower tunnel, losing 2 players to Mimi. Now, if they can isolate that 1 player, because she is there alone, and that's what they're trying to do, they're just trying to pick up that first frag onto Mimi as she goes down in towards mid, then that's a huge advantage for them. If they can just figure out a way of dealing with it, or alternatively stop doing it altogether. Yeah. But, at the same time, it's too good an opportunity to miss. You know where one of the players are on their own every single time. Why would you not try turning that into an advantage? They just need to figure out how. And I imagine the way they're going to try and remedy that is you send someone down to kind of push the corner aggressive and then just have someone watching back towards mid to kind of go for that trade when the pop flash comes in. Or if she just dry peeks, then, they're going to be primed and ready watching that corner. Either way, it's just kind of a classic bait and switch. It wouldn't surprise me if we see something like that.
Yeah, the other thing is we saw previously that when they're going into their buy rounds, they take the pause. So we are actually going to see whether or not they invest into the AWP, whether or not that they will just pick up the rifles instead. Of course, we've yet to know that decision because Marion has enough, but doesn't. So they're just going to go for flat rifles as well. And they did this in the previous. They even took a pause when they were winning. I think they were winning like 14-8 or something, took a pause just to make sure it didn't get out of control. Clearly, a team that does have that tactical basis behind it using their coach. So very happy to see that and impressed with them so far. Obviously, they are behind over on that CT side at the moment, going to want to pull things back, and that's not the start they wanted. Again, they go for some aggression, and unfortunately the person they're waiting for them is going to be Zaz.
Yeah, and Zaz, not the person when you find yourself on the receiving end of a rifle, and she will be able to pick up that first frag. Now mid is going to be the focus of attention from Team Secret. 3 players here early on, and they also have a single player over towards apartments. I believe that's going to be Mimi once again. Didn't go for the lower tunnels push, instead just watching the aggression in from B. Now, Marion has a lot on her plate to try and deal with as they push up short. She's going to find herself here alone. No one close enough to trade as she falls back. Kitty Cat now can potentially do this. And, well, Vilk's going to be tagged down extremely low, gets very little for it, and now suddenly Short's not looking too good an idea. They rotate a 3rd player around as well as Anna finds herself over in kitchen. Vilka does go for a nice bit of movement over towards window, but she is going to fall at the hands of Anna, who just shuts that down, says, "You're not having control of the jungle. This is our side."
And it's going to be back to this 4 versus 4, but again, they're playing so far back at the moment that Zaz is just able to take so much map control, and Tika as well will be pushing further forward. Giuliano actually on the AWP at the moment. Clearly somebody gave the wrong server over towards Dignitas as they are all leaving.
Fine guys, but, not today, sorry. This is the winners. Right. This is the winners game.
Oh, the burns in, but Anna going to be trying to catch someone. Zaz through the smoke, denies once again. And it's going to be Sonic in the same position. Zaz just over towards the corner. Can she grab one more? Not quite yet. It's only going to be 19 HP. And actually, that's going to be a couple of kills coming back, leaving it back into a 3 versus 2. Antika and Giuliano left to try and challenge. We do have this AWP on Giuliano, though, and she is going to be holding. Antika manages to get the first. We've already got low HP onto Zonic, so going to have to try and manage this quickly. Another kill from Antika with that AK. And while Marion doesn't have a kit to play with, and Giuliano will finish.
Yeah, ultimately, almost a nice retake there. It started off very strong, and they pick up a couple of frags here and there, but then you just couldn't account for the fact that Giuliano and Antika can lock that down. Antika landing 2 very nice and, most importantly, very crucial shots. I mean, those were players that could have very swiftly traded for one another. But she's positioned in such a way that she knows that Giuliano is going to be able to get her if anyone does start pushing, easily get that trade. And at the same time, even if it ended up in a 1-on-3, having a player up in Palace is just so incredibly strong on that A-side plant. So it was a round that Team Secret had. 4-7 now, 3 rounds the difference between these 2 teams. And, well, it is going to be an eco coming out from Vex. You can see that Marion's opted to buy armor. She'd have a little bit more money than the rest of the team, so it's going to be all good for her. Probably going to try and juggle a rifle around over towards her if they can. You can see that for the time being. 4 players stacked over towards this B site, and Team Secret aren't really the kind of players to probe for information. Normally they rely on Zaz or Mimi getting these opening frags. Other than that, we just kind of see them default on towards one of these sites. Now, interestingly enough, we have got both Antika and Juliana making their way out through mid to try and clear this out. If they make their way up short, they are going to quickly learn about what is in store for them over towards B. For the time being, Vilga's here, and she's nearly spotting out.
This boost? I like it.
I know, right? I've never seen it before, but it's actually extremely nice. I mean, they're not going to check this angle, right?
She must be able to hear them, though, because they just jump.
I hope so, because there's a lot of jumping going on. I mean,
is she just
just stomping on her teammate's face? It's not nice, it's not pretty, but it might work. As the flash going to go out?
Oh, no.
And there's the Tower of Death, but it's appropriately called that because people died in that formation, not because they get kills. And here we go. Ana alone towards this B site. Marion's there as well. Marion's going to get 3, gets 4. What are you doing, Marion? That was insane. Now it's all on Zaz, who is on that long flank, but Marion's just locking this down. She says, I've had enough. And she picks up 4 insane frags. She wants to go for the ace. Zaz going to be pushing up with the UMP. Going aggressive. And that's it. Marion gets the ace. Oh my God, is that the first? No, we've seen one other ace today, haven't we? We have seen one other ace, but still.
There was the last round.
That's going to be one. That's going to be one for Marion to remember. She just aced up against, you know, what people consider to be the best female team in the world. So
when they invested next to nothing into the round as well, the way that she just picks up an AK and shuts things down. That will be a big round as well for Vex, because it was looking like a sort of, okay, maybe they're just going to shut out the half at this point, but that could be the wake-up call. I think Zonics made a bit of a mistake, though. No armor at the moment with an M4. I don't think there can be anything intentional about that unless she dropped an AWP and just made a few mistakes, but it does leave her in quite a vulnerable situation. We'll be playing passively. A lot of Molotovs thrown out early into this round, all over middle. We do have Julia playing up close at the moment. The timing may just get the better of her as well as Mimi goes aggressive. Vilga picks up another. And every time we seem to see one of these more surprising rounds, Team Secret maybe just get a little bit angry and break straight back. There's 3 players left to defend this. As said, Zonic doesn't have any armor in this corner. Every nade, every shot through walls is going to do that extra little bit. Kitty Cat will be able to bring it back to at least a 4 versus 3. And actually gets another before being traded out. Ana with the AWP, someone definitely being highlighted all the way through this, has brought it back to a 2 versus 2.
Yeah, retake incredibly possible here. Plenty of utility as well over on the CT side for them to retake. The only downside is they're both coming in from CT, so trading is going to be difficult. And Zaz going to pick up that first on the no armor. Zonic on it, gets 1, but not the second. Zaz says no, shuts things down and shows that she can clutch out rounds as well. Not quite impressive as the ace, but still, that'll do. A 5-8 scoreline now. Team Secret going to be finding themselves 2 rounds away from entering double digits, and it is still possible. I mean, Vexed will have enough money to be buying on down, and I imagine that's what we're going to be seeing them do. I mean, look at Marion right now. Marion and Ana just trying their hardest to pull Vex through this. And
what you going to save?
Yeah, instead, they're going to opt to do that. So
it's interesting when you only get 1900 extra into the next round, so we'll see how much of a difference it actually makes. They're just going to go for a pistol stack, wanting to buy into the last. And they will do a little bit of damage. Marion is going to be the last one left again. This time she only needs 4, so if anything, this should be easy. Unfortunately, Antika denies with that AWP, bringing it 9-5. I'm not making the joke. I'm not making that joke.
Yeah, they will be buying on down after the last round and a half. It's just an all-in investment across the board here from either side. Plenty of money for Team Secret to go about sticking into this round. You can see Antika's going to be on the AWP. Anna does have an AWP of her own. I'm hoping she was named after the Overwatch character because, you know, it seems appropriate for picking up the scoped rifle. And here we go, Zaz up close and personal, will fall at the hand of... And that's someone for the side of Team Secret, who for the most part has actually had a huge impact. So losing her early on is going to be a very, very tough scenario for Team Secret to come back from. Now Kitty Cat over towards B is alone, and Mimi is nearly within shot, but that smoke's going to be in the way of stopping her from seeing Vilga for the time being. As it starts to fade, she's going to be in a prime position to try and pick up 1 or 2 frags. Going to opt to push up close instead. 4 players about to be walking into her crosshair, and oh, Mimi's head nearly peeking up over the top, but it's going to be Vilga. She spots first, goes for the pre-find. Now they know where she is. She didn't land that shot. They're going to push on in. Vilga does fall, but Kitty's going to get 1. The trade comes through swiftly on the flank, though. Marion's coming in from behind, and sadly, this time going to be full with very little effect. Juliet's still on the site. She's got herself a second frag, leaving it at 2-on-2. She's got to buy time for the rotate to come in, but Antika says no. Finds that frag, and now it's all on Zonic. 1v2.
He's going to try it and challenge this one. Obviously, the bomb is currently dropped, and Both players are within headshot range. Obviously, Mimi is going to be the one who has to do the majority of the work. Antika with 16 HP, but does have the AWP in play at the moment. Bomb is going to be planted. We are just going to see the attempted push back in. Obviously, no kit in play at the moment, so quite a lot to do in this scenario, and has to do it quickly. Now, should know that there was at least one player over towards bench, but it doesn't matter. James actually told us in the meantime that it's Zonic Q, so it's not Zonic. Oh, it's actually Q. So we've been corrected. Thank you, James. But we can actually obviously know that for the rest. At least.
Yeah, that's the good thing. We'll gradually improve. You know, the lights went out last game, so you know you think pronouncing something's wrong, and the power just goes off. So you know, who knows? It's 5-10 right now. Team Secret find themselves 5 rounds ahead, and was that is that a surprising scoreline? For me, it is. And here's a knife round highlight. They've been loving these today. They've been loving the knife round.
That highlight.
I tell you what we need. We need the Marion ace, and if that isn't in there, and the knife round highlight got in, then I'm going to be a bit disappointed. But yeah, 5-10 right now, and we are going to be heading into the pistol round. It's well and truly underway. And Vexed slowly but surely pushing over towards B. And while Team Secret, they've got 2 players over here with the third actually in kitchen for the quick rotate. It looks like for the time being, though, Bomb's going to be staying over towards A. So I'm going to guess they're going to go up for the split in through connector, potentially going to boost player up, seeing as they do have 2 heading in through lower tunnels. Now Giuliano is over towards window, spots things out. They're not going to elect to do the boost just yet. They do grab mid control as well for free. You can see that Giuliano's just going to rotate away up to play things safely instead of taking that mid aggression. Leaving Antique, however, over towards short on her own. No one here to trade if she does get pounced upon, but instead, Vexed not really doing much with this mid control just yet. They're taking things very slowly. There's still a minute left on the clock, so plenty of time to play around with here, Tom.
Yeah, I think as well, just by going under, it should give a good read that this is going to be over towards the A side. The likelihood is high. Zaz going to be close. Already picks up 2. Not a bad start to the round. Anna with the Tech 9 is going to be able to bring 1 back, but the bomb going down just spots a player over towards short. Now being shot through the smoke in CT as well. Just can't get away from these Secret players at the moment. However, Julia will be there to trade 1 back. The Tech 9 of Anna, can she connect? Not quite, and that leaves it down to just 1. Julia trying to finish this one off, but it will be Antika to bring back this score. And she's actually stepped up big in the last 3 rounds. Like I think she was 0 and 5. And now has come back 10 and 7.
She had no frags.
Had a bit of a nightmare start, but now with her stepping back up, it is looking like a little bit more Secret dominance.
I mean, Zaz is just doing insane. You cannot fault her, right? 21 to 11 right now. I mean, that is really quite impressive when you consider the fact that the next highest person on our team is, what, 15 and 9, currently 6 frags above them. She's having a stellar performance, just firing on all cylinders, really wanting to maintain the fact that Team Secret are this kind of really high caliber female team. And
the mantle almost.
Yeah.
You just got to, they're the top. That's the bar. That's what you got to hit.
Exactly. And while Vex, they're trying their hardest. You can see the hardest going to go aggressive up through connector. It looks like for the most part, she's going to be a mid play. And well, in the meantime, they say no to this. It's all going to be on. Then she gets shut down. 4 players surviving for the side of Team Secret. Going to allow them to have plenty of money farmed up in the bank. And despite the fact that Giuliana has been fairly quiet, it doesn't really matter. I mean, Zaz, Mimi, and Antika have all been there to kind of fill the role that, normally we kind of see Giuliana and Zaz up at the top, and Mimi's just stepped up. We were saying how she has the definitely the potential and the skill to be one of those stars. Maybe, doesn't really shine as bright as she could because of this roster and how strong it is. But it's great because it means that if ever Giuliana isn't feeling it, you can suddenly step up.
Aggression from Zaz. There's just no place you can hide, even when you're so far back. That's a little bit too much for my liking. Pushing with that little HP to try and get back forward, and will actually give away the advantage that she just gathered, meaning that actually now the T's are in a much better position. They've gone for a Galil in order to get a little bit more utility. Not really seeing this weapon too much in competitive play as of recent, but we'll see if she can actually pull that one off. Now, we are going to see more aggression coming up from the CT side. Obviously, they are a little bit lacking in the weaponry department, so going to try and get close and personal with these SMGs. However, Kitty is ready and waiting. Will catch the first, looking for Giuliano as well. Not quite going to manage it. Will be taken down by her prior teammate. And that is going to leave it back into a 3 versus 3.
Yeah, Vex still looking to be very dedicated over here towards B, though they rotate 3 players around. They know that Giuliano's been tagged down low. Only 21 HP left. And she falls on back over towards Kitchen. This site has no one on it from the side of Team Secret right now. She can easily be dealt with, whether it's by a singular kind of stray bullet just passing through or by the utility that Vexed have. She's very isolated from that site, meaning that bomb should be able to go down here no problem. She can't buy time for the retake playing from this position, and that's going to allow that bomb to go straight down. Unless Vexed allow that time to be built up on their own end, they should just push straight in and get the bomb down. And well, they get control of the site. Bomb's going to get planted, and this is the issue, right? Team Secret not even at shop just yet. Bomb's going to be going down. Juliana peeks out and does fall at the hands of Marion. That's the man, the woman advantage put in favor of Vex. That just doesn't roll off the tongue, does it? That one.
Maybe just take out, just say the advantage. Yeah. Either way, Anna is going to be getting another one, and that will leave Vilga to try and bring this one back. Now, obviously, it would have to be a mistake from the T side in this sort of scenario for them to be able to do that. And, well, maybe that's it. The peek out comes. It's going to leave it on to 2 players. There will be 2 players up in Apso, and to defuse the bomb from there is just impossible. Zonny Q will be there to finish off the round, and that is going to be a 6th for Vexed.
Yeah, I mean, I think the T side, I could really see this roster being quite deadly, switching things over on the T side. When you look at it, they've had great individual performances almost across the board. Kitty Cat being the one who maybe is a little bit quieter this game than what we saw in the previous.
Yeah.
And, I mean, if she manages to step up, we could definitely see Vex make this even more competitive than it is now. On an individual basis, having players that can go off and have these insane rounds is far more beneficial on that T side to kind of use them to get your entries, use them to make your way into the site. And that's kind of exactly what we saw in that previous round. They might have taken some casualties early on, but they're quick to sort that out. Juliana is going to go down, and that's going to be the B site going their way. This time, Vexed. They know that Team Secret's economy is going to be taking a hit, so they've slowed things right down, just playing extremely passively, not even moving. Hands not even on the keyboard right now. Maybe with the exception of Marion, who's running around like a bit of a. I don't know. I was gonna like mad woman. Is that what you'd say? It's like half the expressions I use don't work anymore. But yeah, 6-12 right now. And finally, we are aware the keyboards are working. They start to make their way out towards mid. They've waited for early aggression from Team Secret, which is a good move. I mean, they've been going very aggressive on these rifle rounds, so why not when they're on the pistols? Now they're going to be executing out towards mid. The long-ranged rifle is going to be benefiting greatly from this position. Pop flashing towards Connector. It does miss its mark, but Mimi's going to be able to get one. That is it. The trade's going back and forth. Ultimately going to leave things in a 3-on-3, but the weapons in mid going to be picked up by Secret. Got some armor to play around with on Zaz, but she's the only player without a rifle, interestingly. Now Bomb's rotated around towards A. There are 3 players here right now for Team Secret. 4 Vex to try and contend with. Juliano peeks on out, spots this push coming on in. The rotate's already going to be well and truly underway. Zaz is on this site and we'll be able to find one. This might be all it takes. She can buy more than enough time. Vilga's going to come around as well with the AK, chimes in with one. It's all on Kitty Cat, who does get 1 frag in return, but that is going to be it. Vilga to trade things out, and there we go. Team Secret picking up their 13th.
Yeah, the positioning and the read from Secret in that round was just so on point. They had the initial aggression in mid that was just holding. They had a player in the ladder as well for the crossfire once they actually tried to challenge the 2 players. Then the second that they pick up those weapons, they just go, okay, we're going to gamble on the A site. If it goes well, then we challenge. If not, then we save the rifles. They gamble, they get it right, they win the round. Just absolutely flawless stuff from them. Vexed. It has to be said that was a round they needed to win. They needed to use their utility a little bit better to clear some of those angles. We did see a Molotov go into connector. It just didn't go into the corner. And then when they challenged, they took a short-range battle, which is always going to benefit those pistols. Either way, they're going to now try and get short-range battles themselves. The smokes will fall. They're going to get onto the site, but Antika is here and just looking to clean things up. Already 2 kills for her. A little bit of a close range position in these smokes at the moment. Neither player seeming to know where the other is. And well, Omni Q will be waiting and eventually gets decimated herself.
Yeah, that site very quickly turned into a pistols playground there with the smokes landing all around. It was a CQB environment. No one really sure what the hell was going on. Bullets raining in left and right. But ultimately, somehow Team Secret come out of that without losing a player, and that's going to be great for their economy, allowing it to start to build up on the CT side. You can see that Giuliano is sitting on $6,000. Maybe should share that with the team a little bit in the next, the next couple of rounds. If they do lose one, they will have enough money to buy up. So Vexed will find themselves having to win a couple consecutively to try and hamper the economy. And already Giuliano going to go aggressive up towards Palace. Finds that first. Marion trying to refrag, and I think she's going to fake flash it. The Glock didn't actually even get far enough around the corner. Oh no, that's a shame. She's going to go down as a result. That's 2 for Giuliano.
That was based off spawn as well. They gave her the AWP just based off the fact that she had the close range spot. It is pretty much the thing about this team. The previously Juliana was actually one of the AWPers for this team. Now, obviously, they brought in Antigua, they got Vilga as well, but she can still AWP very effectively. So, well, hand it over. She'll get you the 2 early picks. And, well, now we've got to see some sort of reaction coming out. Obviously, we haven't seen Anna able to get that AWP too much in this game, and when she has, it's been alright, but it hasn't been like a massive impact. She definitely hasn't taken over the game like we sort of hoped that she would. See that star performance, and well, now it's just going to be a shutdown. Only one player left in the form of Julia, sort of hoping that her teammates would get onto the site and she could hold the flank, looking for that bomb, but it's actually in a horrible position to actually try and retrieve, and if anything, that smoke has probably not helped. We'll be able to get one, however, but there is Vilga to end it in its tracks. Match point, and well, semi-finals point. This is going to be it. Team Secret can get themselves straight through.
Yeah, Team Secret going to be 1 round away from potentially reaching those sweet, sweet semi-finals. But one thing you can't discredit, I mean, Vexed, they've got 6 rounds, right? That puts them kind of, I would say, above and beyond where I figured they would have fallen, in all honesty, throughout this thing. First with their win over Dignitas, and now contending, I would say, fairly well with the likes of Team Secret. It does bode well for them.
I think the big problem is they haven't been able to string too many together, and now we're just seeing the confidence plays come out from Secret. They've had so many broken economy rounds, almost a lineup switching to the D.
No, it's bad. There's a lot of shots being missed, but Mimi's there to try and mop things up. They do have to get up short, and they're able to overwhelm Antigua on the site. Bomb's going to go down. It is a 4-on-3 retake. Now, Marion, she's going to be limping around. She's not looking too healthy. 6 HP. But still a huge threat with that Tech 9. They've also been able to scavenge it off. That's going to get thrown over to Anna. Let's see if she can put that to good use. Mimi's going to opt to stand in a bit of fire, a little bit longer than she would have liked, but ultimately does pick up that frag on a Marion. It's a 3-on-3 now. Marion only had 6 HP, so was very, very close to there. Vilga's going to push on out. The retake coming in full force. Anna able to get 1, putting it back into a 2-on-2. Still playing over towards bench now. Zaz is here going in for the aggression. Finds that first. It's all on Anna. He's managed to get a third, leaving it in this 1-on-1. Bomb's ticking away. She just to play things safe. Doesn't spot out Zaz, though, and that will be the frag coming in. I think there's just enough time left to defuse this. No, there's not.
Oh, no.
That's it. It's going to go off, but that's going to be a 7-15 scoreline. Well played there by Anna to lock down that site, but it was incredibly close, Tom.
Yeah, no, literally just a second or two in that. If Zaz gets the kill just a tiny bit faster, she has that round in the bag for her team, and well, it's just about going to work. They managed to make that rush work, picking up the AWP, and we finally get to see Anna with the AWP in hand, and she does some great work with it. The problem is she can't get it in this round, can't afford it. They've been completely set back. They get the win, but that's it. They get just the money that was there for that round because everything else was invested previously, and every single player died. Now, Juliana's actually just taken the primary AWP at the moment, just decided, okay, maybe the rifle's not working, so I'm going to go back to AWPing, something that she has done in the past. Been working relatively well so far, but it is looking like they're just feeling this B site at the moment, gathering up to push towards Antigua.
Yeah, Antigua here alone going to have a lot to try and answer for as the push comes in. She falls back, Molotov's going to land, and that'll be able to slow down this play. Finds one still alive, but it's Vilga in from short to reinforce. Trying to escape, and no, you weren't meant to jump into that, but she still gets out of there. It is going to be a 3-on-4 for the retake here. Bomb hasn't gone down just yet. This has allowed plenty of time for the rotate to come on in. Already, Team Secret position to try and push towards the site. They're going to boost up Mimi. Zaz finds Anna as well in that Molotov. This thing is getting a little bit hot and spicy. And she will go down. Now Marion and Sonic... What is it? Zonicue? Yeah, Zonicue. Going to find themselves 2-on-4. And while Marion's able to get 1, they'll get well full at the hands of that AK. Looking for a second. Zonicue opting to try and push on out and help. Instead, just takes the head clean off of Mimi, but then is going to fall. Zaz picks that up, and that's going to be the defuse coming on in. GG's across the board, 7-16 in favor of Team Secret. But all in all, well played there from Vexed.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem was that every time that they managed to win a round on their CT side, they did get instantly reset. They had so many times that it was just like, okay, we'll win one, we'll lose one, we'll then lose 2 more because we're just so screwed on economy. And they would try, like, the amount of times we saw them attempt to do pistol strats was too many. Like, they just didn't get rolling. And because of that, when it came down to it, they just lost way too many rounds. Like, 5 rounds over, I think it was 5 or 4 over on their CT side is not enough to ever win a game of Mirage, or it shouldn't be unless the other team is equally as just bad at holding that CT side. That's the problem. And also some individual just stardom, I suppose, coming out from Zaz again, just showing exactly why she's up there as like the top 2 in the world for female Counter-Strike, because she can just take over games. From the very start, she was just absolutely destroying and didn't really stop. And then there were sort of rounds like this where we just saw, okay, Juliana fancies the AWP, we'll just pick it up and find 2 opening kills. Can't quite do it with the Deagle, but that's fine. It worked out in the end. And even in these sort of situations, I do want to say there's a lot of like good promise over on that Vex side. Like Anna definitely is sort of a youngster in there.
Yeah.
Going to be working with Kitty probably for quite a while. I hope they do have that sort of full-time opportunity to just continue to play, because if she's only 17 and is already showing a huge promise against a team like Secret, there's so much to go for. And I'm actually really excited to see this decider match go down, because obviously iSports not really doing too much as of yet. They've got to face off against Dignitas, and we may get to sort of see a little bit more. Obviously, we can actually show this because we've got a lovely little bracket to bring up.
Yeah, so we did just see Team Secret versus Vexed, and that was 16-17 in favor of Team Secret. Now, we're going to be moving into the
elimination.
Yeah, we got the elimination match next. That's iSports versus Team Dignitas, and then, of course, the loser of that, while they are gone, the winner will be heading into the decider match versus Vexed. So, that's going to be coming up very shortly, and I think heading into that, there is a lot that we can talk about. I would actually leave that note to the next guys, I think, to give them a topic of conversation.
We want to give them something to say.
Maybe we won't just,
just throw them under the bus. But
we won't do that.
Obviously, we do have another match coming up relatively shortly. It will be elimination. Either Dignitas, one of the favorites of this tournament, or iSports will be going home. We will see you shortly after the break.
Oh, is there a break?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to ESL One Code!
2 headshots in a row, and Phoenix about to bring it back now, all on Nico. Trying to see if they can get the defuse, and Nico, oh no, Phoenix! Has to keep his pro alive, Taco once closer, AW getting done! He's looking for third, he's gonna get a hit that headshot again! Oh my god!
Start your esports career now at play.eslgaming.com.
I think I find myself low on bandwidth sometimes, but it's really exciting and I like the challenges and I like getting to build things. I'm Angie Klingsick, and I'm the executive director at Crimson Gaming at the University of Utah. Salt Lake City is a pretty warm community. We have a pretty decently sized gaming scene, actually, and it's been picking up a lot of velocity and growing, I'd say, exponentially over the years. It's definitely a hidden gem that we're really lucky to be a part of. I actually started getting an interest in leadership roles since I arrived on campus. The one thing that my friends and I had noticed is that no one was gaming together. We didn't want anyone to be gaming by themselves in their dorms. We wanted them to realize that there was a hub for them to go to and that there was a really warm, welcoming place that they could hang out at. Started with the League of Legends Student Association. That evolved into the Esports Association, and for the last year and a half now, we've rebranded to Crimson Gaming. Crimson Gaming is a club that has around 500 registered members. We have over 15 gaming branches, each dedicated to a different game or platform. Crimson Gaming hosts a variety of events for our students. We host weekly gaming events, viewing parties, and tournaments. I end up doing a lot of event support. We structure a lot of special tournaments and events for our community. We also focus a lot on esports. We have competitive teams that are available for students to try out for and compete in. We really want to make sure that the students here have a home for gaming on campus and that they have a central hub that they can go to. One of the biggest challenges I think that we've had is making sure that we are an all-inclusive gaming organization. We want to be inclusive to other organizations, to any gaming studios or companies that may be coming in, to other gaming and TESPA chapters that are in our state. I'd say if you look at a lot of the trends of gaming and competitive gaming and esports, a lot of people look at that and they see boys, 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 boys. We don't really care where you're from, what your background is. We don't care what gender you are. We, in fact, encourage people of all localities to come out and hang out with us. There are a lot of places in esports, and esports is growing, and these communities are getting bigger and bigger, yet a lot of the females who do play find it really difficult to come out. We always make sure that we're reaching out to let them know that there's a safe place on campus to game. When we have our social events and, even when we have our competitive events, I think that leading by example and showing that, there are active women in leadership at Crimson Gaming and in the community, and that they're friendly and they're warm and they want to hang out with you. We started to notice more of an attendance from women at our events. The biggest barrier for women who want to be more involved in gaming is, frankly, themselves. I think there's a lot of personal fears that people have when they want to reach out and they want to be more competitive, or maybe they just want to go out to an event and they think, oh, I'm not good enough, or oh, people probably don't want me there. Sometimes it's even the community, unfortunately, a little bit. Sometimes community members don't understand that their actions or their words are being a barrier to women wanting to come out and hang out and play also. That's something that a leader or you yourself as a community member can change the thought process of. You can be the one to say, hey, that's not cool to say. Maybe reach out to that girl who might be there for the first time and make it so that she's not afraid to come to the event. We're really excited that there are so many females on board and that there are so many females in a visible position and in a welcoming position at our club. When girls come to Crimson Gaming and they see that one of our Overwatch players on the main roster is a female, or oh, the people running the League of Legends event are female, that's something that's really exciting and inspiring. I hope that women will find each other and become inspired to come out more, and that they'll want to lift each other up in the gaming organizations here in the state of Utah.
Welcome back to the Intel Challenge, ladies and gentlemen. I'm glad I'm finally here. Unfortunately, obviously, as many of you know, the first match was cancelled for stream, so I'm finally joining my partner in crime, Harry, and we're going to be casting the decider match, or the elimination match, sorry.
Yeah, the elimination.
Yeah, quite a scary one.
Yeah, I mean, as the name would suggest, the loser, they're gone. Goodbye. The winner, however, they'll be going into the decider match, and that's going to be up against Vexed, the loser of the winners bracket that went down earlier on. So, I mean, we can look at all that good stuff in a minute, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, heading into it, You know, how do you feel about this, Hugo? I mean,
see, it's a really interesting one, right? Because you look at iSports, you go, a team that really hasn't had a lot of experience in terms of LAN. They failed to qualify for both ESWC, also the DreamHack Esports United Razor event. They didn't qualify for that either. Female Stars, the last LAN that they attended in Russia or Ukraine back last year, they went out in last place. They didn't get anything done, but since then they've been having some roster changes. They've added Nopka, they've added Neuroleptica, all of that. So I guess now they have something to prove. Issue is obviously their first game was against Secret, and we all know how that turned out, 16-1. So yeah, they've got a lot to prove, but I mean, we can have a look at the player profile, the team profile at least for iSports. As you can see, Neuroleptica and obviously Nopka, the latest 2 additions to the lineup. And I think at least, I know Nopka well, she's a great player, and Neuroleptica's actually been quite fairly decent online as well, but in terms of LAN events, these guys don't have as much experience as some of the teams they're up against. So looking at their opponents, Dignitas, previously Selfless, I'm picturing a very scary best of 1 here for the Russians.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you think about the fact that Dignitas are kind of the only team to really ever challenge Secret, right? They're one of the only teams to really take kind of a map off of them in a best of 3. And that was in what? The ESWC, yeah. Women's Cup. So yeah, that was in the grand finals as well. It finished 2-1 in favor of Team Secret then. And you know, they're coming into this, I would say they're definitely the favorites, but after kind of how we saw them perform up against Vexed, who have been doing very well, at the same time, I mean, you know, what sort of grounds do we have to judge that maybe Dignitas didn't bring their A game to that?
Yeah, I see. I definitely agree, because you say, you know, Dignitas, second best team in this event on paper, right? But then they lose out on their first matchup against a team that's never won a map on LAN. That's a really weird. Is it Vex playing well? Is it, you know, Dignitas not playing well? It's hard to tell.
And it definitely
looks
like it could be fairly 50-50 based on how we saw them play up against Secret. I mean, Vexed, I mean, you know, seeing them be able to get, you know, quite a few rounds, considering that's probably the best female team. Once again, like on paper, in terms of their results, definitely kind of the best female team out there. Being able to get that many rounds is an achievement for a team that we haven't heard of. But does it mean they're good enough to then beat the second best team on paper? You know, in a fairly well, I mean, it was a fairly one-sided victory. I mean, they did bring it back to a much more respectable scoreline, but still, I mean, it still went the way of Vexed in that matchup. So coming into this, I mean, iSports, I'd say, well, I mean, it's their last chance to try and stay in, right? But it's also kind of one of their better chances, I feel, to try and stay in this.
Yeah, I mean, the alternative matchup that we were expecting, at least, was going to be Vexed versus iSports.
Yeah.
And the way that Vexed are playing right now, I think that would be just a clear-cut Vexed. But right now, I think, yeah, Dignitas, they're supposedly looking good so far at ESWC, but maybe having a long break from, you know, since then, you know, female lands are kind of spread far and thin.
Yeah.
Maybe this is a chance for iSports to surprise. We haven't seen anything from them, but they're up against what we're expecting to be the victor of the tournament, Secret. So let's just completely discount that map, right? I don't think we can even count it because we just didn't see anything, and it was best of 1 Mirage, one of Secret's best maps alongside Cash. So it's completely, you know, unrealistic to even take that into account. So I think, yeah, there's a chance iSports could be picking up this map, but I've got to go with my gut, and I've got to go with Dignitas. I'm not sure if you're going to agree with me on that.
I am going to agree with you. You know, I mean, we know a couple of the iSports players, and we've spoken to them, and we know that they're fantastic. But I'm going to have to go with Team Dignitas for a couple of reasons. Not only do I think that really there's a lot of potential there, a lot of kind of skills spread amongst the roster, and a lot of experience, as you know, both performing on LAN or online and stuff like that, and results from it as well to back it up. But as well as that, I'm really excited to potentially see them at some point, if they manage to make it through, going up against CLG. Just because of how that kind of all plays out, the rivalries that are there, I think there's a lot of storylines that we can look at.
Like Kath.
Kath being one. The fact that it's almost like CLG are kind of their kryptonite, and that was maybe broken at ESWC, but you know, will it be broken this time around? There's a lot that we could definitely look at in kind of the future, potentially.
I mean, that's only if CLG get through groups, right?
Yeah, we haven't even moved on to Group B.
We've got a lot ahead of ourselves today.
We've got a lot.
But honestly, like, even just kind of delving into Group B really, really quickly before we get into this map, you know, CLG, a team that kind of, I guess, a placeholder for female CS. They were the first big kind of well-known team, Secret to follow as well. And CLG coming into this event, not in the most difficult of groups, but still a group I'm quite worried they might not get out of. We might just see Expert and LDLC just storm the front. I mean, Silhouette are unknown. They could surprise, but realistically, there's a there's a possibility, unless CLG bring their A game, that they may not get out of groups. But I mean, that's all later. So let's just stick to the here and now. And looking at this matchup again, this is obviously the chance for Dignitas to prove that the earlier map that they played up against Vexed was a mistake. And not only that, but if they beat this one team iSports, they will be up against Vexed later as well for the decider match, which is going to be huge. So assuming Dignitas, beat iSports here in the best of one, we're going to be seeing them face against the team that beat them earlier. What do you think about that?
I mean, that's their shot of revenge, right? That is the the revenge matchup. Knocked into the lower bracket, you managed to get out. You go back up against the team that put you there, and I imagine we're going to see them firing on the cylinders, right? They don't want to let Vexed get away with doing it twice in a row, and the second time knocking them out of the tournament. So there's going to be a lot at stake if that does what if that is what comes our way. Either way, I think the outcome of this is going to be fantastic. I mean, Team Dignitas, if they do get through, then I mean that's just going to be such an interesting game to watch. Seeing how the fact that it is kind of the grunge match, or like the revenge kind of game coming back up. Or I mean, if it's iSports, then that's interesting in itself, right? Because they're really one that I mean, I wouldn't say too many people have maybe pegged them to even get out of groups. So to have that shot to play up against Vexed and potentially be one of the teams to make it out, that's interesting in and of itself.
iSports have nothing to lose but everything to gain, right?
Yeah.
They're coming in much like
Silhouette or Vexed.
Yeah, or Vexed even so. Definitely nothing really to, if they go out in groups, it's like, okay, cool, I expected that. The Group A has the top 2 female teams on paper, in the same group. So you're like looking at Vexed and you're looking at iSports and Vexed going, what are they going to get out of groups? Not a chance, right? But no, it's been interesting so far, obviously, and this match is going to be on Cobble as well. We've had confirmation on a best of one. So obviously the map pools kind of hard to get into for some of the teams that haven't played as many events. For example, looking at iSports on Cobble, like we haven't seen them at that many lands, right? So we go, what do we do in terms of analysis? But let's take into account, obviously, this is a map that's very, very well played in the CIS region. We see a lot of, teams like, for example, Gambit are very, very dominant on Cobble. And moving into this, it could be just the Eastern European advantage. You never know when it comes to Cobble at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, we've played them, with Nopka. She seemed okay.
Are we making
Cobble.
a comparison?
Well, I don't know. Not really. I'm just saying she seemed to do okay, top fragging and whatnot. But that's just because we're terrible.
Yeah. I can back that statement.
Yeah. No, I mean, coming into this, I agree. It is fairly hard to look at kind of maps when it comes down, especially between 2 of the lesser known teams, Vexed as well being ones that's very hard to kind of do any concrete research into. That and the fact that there just aren't many events that we see these teams attending. So that there is very little, especially when you look. But yeah, I mean, there is a little bit. And like you say, the fact that CIS teams normally, Cobblestone is one of these ones that they kind of have as one of their home grounds, like their proving grounds almost, is definitely something we could look to.
And again, predictions just really come just so difficult after we see Dignitas lose to Vexed earlier on in the match that should have just been a complete whiteout. But either way, teams are starting to ready up. We got Dignitas ready. We're just waiting on iSports now, and then we'll be jumping into the game, obviously. Looking forward to this one, and a very important one for iSports and as much for Dignitas. But I'm going to stick my Dignitas call. I'm assuming you're the same.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with my Dignitas call.
Okay.
What?
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I mean, if we have it, we could show the bracket now. I don't know if that's something that would be possible. But I mean, if we could bring it up, that would be fantastic. But that's basically us doing a nonchalant nudge at the producers saying, please bring it up. And, trying to get a little bit less discreet. No, not going to be the case anyway.
It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, the players are readying up anyway. We've basically given you the rundown of the bracket regardless. And there we go. Thank you, guys. Oh, we love you. So this is the elimination match, iSports versus Team Dignitas. The winner will be facing off against Vexed, and then the winner of that will be joining the qualified teams with Team Secret to head through into the semi-finals tomorrow. The loser, they are gone of both of these games. So elimination and the decider match. They're rip, see you later.
Yeah.
See you in a few months' time.
Especially for this one, right? A few months' time. Yeah. Especially for this one, lose 2 best of ones and you're out in an event. The biggest event so far of the year, $30,000 on the line. Not only that, but also the chance to take away the victory from Team Secret, who have picked up the 2 previous Intel challenges. This is a huge, huge deal.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone's looking out to try and dethrone Team Secret. Yeah. I mean, it would be a phenomenal way to for some of these teams to kickstart the kind of their their look into this. I mean, Vexed already looking to be very strong. Who knows? We might see them be actual contenders to try and overthrow the giant that is. I mean, that would be a proper kind of Cinderella story as well, of them coming into this being just these massive underdogs and then managing to come out on top. But that's
personally as well, I thought Vexed would go 0-4 in the group. I did not see them getting out. Again, just to reiterate, they've never won a map on LAN. Sorry, 0-2 in the group. Just to reiterate,
they actually go and lose 2 additional matches.
They then play Group B and then they don't win anything. No, 0-2 in the group. They've never won a map on LAN until today. So that is just such an impressive.
I know, and what a win to get.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
imagine that. You know, they might not beat the best team, but they certainly beat their second best team. And I think, you know, for a team that hasn't really accomplished too much on LAN before, that's a phenomenal feat.
Yeah, but I mean, apparently we're going to go for a short break now. So the players are just readying up. They're just trying to work out what's going on, maybe a tech issue. So we're going to be taking a really, really short break, guys. Just a few minutes, then we'll be back with you for Team Dignitas versus iSports here on DE Cobble, the elimination match. You do not want to miss it. We'll see you in just a minute.